Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 99 based on novel. So let's start. Wang Lin smiled at the old woman's question and said, "I'm Seng Nyo." The old woman's expression changed. She looked at Wang Lin and said, "To kill Shui Yu's Li Yuanfeng and the giant demon clan ancestor at only the soul formation stage. Today this old woman indeed can't kill you." The old woman let out a sigh. Although she was at the late stage of soul transformation and could easily kill Wang Lin, she had no chance of doing so with Du Qian present. After looking at the old man beside her, she let out another sigh in her heart. The purple-robed old man beside the woman had a gloomy expression on his face. He was at the early stage of soul transformation. He knew that he could have killed Li Yuanfeng without question, but against the giant demon clan ancestor, it would be very difficult to win. However, this young man before him managed to kill both. Although Wang Lin wasn't a soul transformation cultivator yet, he already saw Wang Lin as someone of the same cultivation level. Du Qian let out a laugh. He was very satisfied with Wang Lin's actions. People of the soul refining sect should be like this. Du Qian said, "Let's not waste any more time. According to the rules, give me half of your celestial jades." The old woman pondered a bit. She then looked at Du Qian for a bit before her eyes lit up and she said, "I can give you half our celestial jades, but with the battle with the Forsaken Immortal clan at hand, if my demonic insect sect is in danger, you must help us at once." Du Qian looked at the old woman and said, "That will depend on how many celestial jades you give me." The old woman bitterly smiled. She took out a bag of holding and threw it at Du Qian without even looking at it. She said, "This should satisfy you." Du Qian caught the bag. After he scanned it with his divine sense, his expression became strange. He looked at the old woman and said, "You people of the demonic insect sect really were filthy rich in the past. My master took so many celestial jades from you guys, but you still have this many. Did you guys find some way to gather them?" The old woman calmly said, "You don't need to know about this. Remember our agreement." With that, she flew off into the distance. The purple-robed elder looked at Wang Lin once more before clasping his hands at him and leaving. Just like this, Du Qian took Wang Lin across Pilu and stole a large number of celestial jades. Along the way, Wang Lin really got to see just how tyrannical Du Qian really was. Du Qian would take out the 1 billion soul flag and demand celestial jades. If they didn't give him any, he would release the soul fragments and use what little time he had left to mess with the sect. The soul refining sect's notoriety was well known. The other two sects of Pilu were really angry, but since the soul refining sect has always done this, they handed the celestial jades over in the end. Du Qian slapped his bag of holding and smiled at Wang Lin. "See all of this? This is how my soul refining sect has acted for tens of thousands of years. When you own the 1 billion soul flag, you must do the same or else you'll drag down my soul refining sect's name." Although his body was filled with death aura, Wang Lin could sense some relief in Du Qian's heart. A long time ago, an ancestor of my soul refining sect wanted to reach the ascendant stage. The amount of celestial jades he needed was many times more than what you require. Finally, after sweeping the entire planet, he went to the country of Suzaku. With the 1 billion soul flag, even the ascendant cultivators wouldn't carelessly act against him. As a result, he was able to take celestial jades by force, Du Qian said. Wang Lin bitterly smiled. He could feel the headache that the ascendant cultivators of Suzaku back then had. Giving the celestial jades away made it feel like they were gifting someone free money. After all, every generation that held the 1 billion soul flag was a tyrant. Wang Lin secretly thought, "I think I see how this soul refining sect went from a rank 5 cultivation country to only a sect now." However, that ancestor failed and still died in the end. In truth, I don't agree with his actions. Unless it is absolutely needed, it is better not to mess with ascendant cultivators. He would have been better off doing what we are doing right now. With this flag, we can go through a rank 5 cultivation country and steal from any sect we see. Even if we meet powerful cultivators of the Forsaken Immortal clan, it won't matter. Wang Lin bitterly smiled once more. Du Qian's tyrannical actions weren't limited to Pilu. In fact, Du Qian was fairly reserved in Pilu. After all, they were all neighbors, so he couldn't push them too far. However, the moment they left Pilu, Wang Lin finally got to see just how tyrannical Du Qian could be. In 3 months of time, Du Qian took Wang Lin across 4 rank 5 cultivation countries. When they left, it was like a locust swarm had gone by. Even some cultivation families were affected and had to hand over the few celestial jades they had. As for the sects, Du Tien didn't even say anything before taking out the 1 billion soul flag. The soul fragments would cover the sects and then more than 10 soul transformation soul fragments would come out. This was not an attack any sect in a rank 5 cultivation country could resist. Du Tien collected a large number of celestial jades and placed them in a bag of holding. In the 4th rank 5 cultivation country, Du Tien finally aroused a reaction from the local cultivators. For soul transformation cultivators banded together to attack Du Tien. This time, Wang Lin finally recognized just how strong the 1 billion soul flag was. Wang Lin didn't even have time to act before the 4 of them were beaten back. This was only because Du Tien didn't want to kill anyone, otherwise, one of them would have definitely become another primary soul for the soul flag. With how tyrannical Du Tien was acting in the last 2 years of his life, Wang Lin had to take out his straw hat and use it to cover his appearance. This was to prevent all of the sects that they had stolen from looking for him in the future. For rank 5 cultivation countries, 13 sects and more than 100 cultivation families. Counting the ones in Pilu, that is 16 sects in total. In these 3 months, Du Tien stole a large number of celestial jades from them. On this day, Du Tien stopped. Du Tien said to Wang Lin, in a serious tone, "This many celestial jades should be enough for you to reach the soul transformation stage. Maybe there will even be some left over. In the future, if you want to raise your cultivation level, you will have to get your own celestial jades. Remember, in the cultivation world, especially for soul transformation cultivators, the only way to get celestial jades is to steal. No matter how many disciples you send to the celestial realm, you won't get enough celestial jades." Wang Lin nodded. He had no issues with stealing, but he didn't agree with Du Tien's methods. He believed that he should either take everything or not steal at all. Perhaps the process would be a lot more difficult, but the number of celestial jades in their possession would be more than double what they currently had. After obtaining enough celestial jades, Du Tien took Wang Lin and rushed back to the soul refining sect. He was going to protect Wang Lin so he could break through to the soul transformation stage safely. Du Tien let out a sigh and said, "Planet Suzaku is too small. When I was young, I left the planet once and went to Tianyun. That planet is 10 times larger than planet Suzaku. There are a lot of sects there and naturally more celestial jades. If it wasn't for that fact I wasn't strong enough, it would have felt good to steal from the sects there. It is said that among the Cultivation Alliance, there are many rank 6 cultivation countries that organize raids to steal from other cultivation planets." Planet Tianyun, Wang Lin's eyes lit up. Du Tien said that Tianyunzi on planet Tianyun has a very high cultivation level. It is said he even has a seat in the Cultivation Alliance. That is not something the small Zhuqiuzi can compare with. Wang Lin pondered a bit. Just as he was about to ask more, Du Tien's expression changed and he looked into the distance. Wang Lin spread out his divine sense and turned his head. A black fog was closing in from the horizon and devouring clouds on the way. The black fog was so large that one couldn't see where it ended. A powerful aura of tattoo power slowly spread out. Forsaken Immortal Clan. Du Tien's eyes lit up. During their time together, Wang Lin had talked with Du Tien and learned that several years ago, the Immortal Forsaken Clan gathered a large amount of people and directly started their attack on the continent of Suzaku. Countless cultivators died during that battle. Some shamans from the Forsaken Immortal Clan who were as powerful as Ascendant cultivators fought with Zhuqiuzi and the other 2 Ascendant cultivators. This battle lasted for 3 years and then the Forsaken Immortal Clan retreated. They took over the rank 3 cultivation countries and began this slow battle with the country of Suzaku. In this battle, 2 people rose above all others, Liu Mai and Xian Feng. Liu Mai, with her peerless beauty, had caught the eyes of all the young male cultivators. Her cultivation level was also very high, she was at the mid-stage of soul transformation. This made her even more eye-catching. The moment she appeared, she completely suppressed Red Butterfly's fame and became the new Heaven's Daughter. It seemed like no one was paying attention to Red Butterfly anymore. What got everyone talking even more was that she was the personal disciple of the current Suzaku and a candidate to become the next Suzaku. The moment she appeared, she caught several 7-leaf shamans. She was even able to capture an 8-leaf shaman who was as powerful as a late-stage soul transformation cultivator. As a result, her fame skyrocketed. There was one more thing about her that caught everyone's attention. The rumors went like this: she was kind and had a pure heart yet was still able to reach this level of cultivation. She had never killed a person in her life, even when she fought against the Forsaken Immortal clan, she only captured them and didn't kill them. With all of these good qualities, she naturally caught everyone's attention. Whenever she appeared, all of the surrounding cultivators respectfully obeyed her orders. Even in battles that they were destined to lose, when she appeared, all of the cultivators present would regain their vigor and then win the battle with her help. This woman was considered one of the twin geniuses of this generation. The other genius was Qian Feng. He was very handsome and had a dignified appearance. His cultivation level was also at the mid-stage of soul transformation. There was no trace of arrogance on him and he was very morally upright, just, and mild-mannered. Qian Feng suddenly appeared in the second year of the Forsaken Immortal clan's attack. The moment he appeared, he immediately killed several powerful Forsaken Immortal clan members and fought with the Forsaken Immortal clan's junior master. All of this immediately shook the entire planet. The battle between the two of them was a battle between each side's next generation's leader. Although Qian Feng didn't win and the battle ended in a tie, his fame soared through the heavens. Only after this battle did everyone know that he was Liu Mai's senior apprentice brother and a disciple of the current Suzaku. He was ranked second under Liu Mai. In addition, he had another identity that caught everyone's attention. This person was the descendant of the previous generation Suzaku. Qian Feng was like a bright moon in the battle against the Forsaken Immortal clan. In the end, he signed an agreement with the junior master of the Forsaken Immortal clan. The country of Suzaku handed over all rank 3 cultivation countries so that the Forsaken Immortal clan would suspend their attack. Du Qian's eyes lit up as he stared at the large, black cloud coming in from the distance and said, in a deep tone, the Forsaken Immortal clan has started their second attack. Zheng Niu, I can feel that a shaman as powerful as a mid-stage soul transformation cultivator is within that black cloud. As for whether there is an ascendant cultivator or not, I don't know. Bring out the sub-flag and we'll charge over. Wang Lin's expression remained calm as he looked at the black cloud. He reached out, causing the 1 billion soul sub-flag to appear. After he grabbed the flag, black fog came out of it and wrapped around Wang Lin. Du Qian also took out the 1 billion soul flag. With a wave, he wrapped himself in black fog as well and charged toward the black cloud with Wang Lin. As they traveled, they were surrounded by sonic booms and the wailing of soul fragments. Waves of roars suddenly came the black cloud as a large number of Forsaken Immortal clan members appeared charged out. At this moment, Du Qian and Wang Lin charged directly into the black cloud. Just as the Forsaken Immortal clan members were about to attack, a shout came from within the black cloud and the Forsaken Immortal clan members stopped and opened up a passage. A middle-aged man in a palace robe without any tattoos on his body walked out from the black cloud. Beside him followed a hunchbacked old man. The old man's expression was gloomy and he would occasionally cough a few times. Wang Lin immediately recognized this old man as the person who had chased him into the spatial rift and then was left trapped inside. The feud between the two of them was great, so if he recognized Wang Lin, he wouldn't give up until he died. However, Wang Lin was wearing the straw hat and was wrapped in the soul flag, so that person couldn't recognize him. Soul Refining Sect, the middle-aged man whispered as his eyes lit up. He moved forward and blocked Du Qian and Wang Lin. You two from the Soul Refining Sect, stay. The middle-aged man smiled and waved his hand. Boom! A loud bang rang out. With just a simple wave, an invisible force suddenly appeared and trapped Du Qian and Wang Lin like they were in a cage. Wang Lin's expression slightly changed. Under this invisible force, he felt a very strong sense of danger. Nine-Leaf Shaman. Du Qian's voice came from inside the soul flag. However, the soul flag surrounding Du Qian released countless soul fragments and then the 13 golden-purple primary souls descended like gods. Du Qian shouted, "Charge!" The soul fragments suddenly became crazy as they charged in all directions. This was especially true for the 13 soul transformation soul fragments. All of the Forsaken Immortal clan members under soul transformation level strength died in just one touch from the 13 fragments. The middle-aged man frowned. He had just reached the 9-leaf stage, so he was equal to an early-stage ascendant cultivator. However, he had never seen the terrifying power of the 1 billion soul flag. He had only read about it in the records of the war tens of thousands of years ago and knew that it was the weapon that the Forsaken Immortal clan dread the most. Now that he saw it, his expression darkened. He waved his hand, causing the black cloud to back off. The Forsaken Immortal clan members inside the cloud created an opening in the middle. Du Qian laughed as he brought Wang Lin to charge out of the black cloud and into the distance. Mu Yi, you bring the clan members to meet up with Junior Master. I'm going to test the power of the 1 billion soul flag, the middle-aged man commanded, before chasing after Du Qian. The hunchbacked old man nodded as he led the clan members to reform the black cloud. When they finished, they continued to move forward. Du Qian flew away and then suddenly paused. The 9-leaf shaman is following us. Zheng Niu, watch carefully and see why ascendant cultivators fear the 1 billion soul flag. As Du Qian spoke, he turned around to face the forsaken immortal clan member. A rainbow arched across the sky and arrived before him. It was the middle-aged man. Du Qian didn't waste time talking. His hand formed a seal and he spat out some blood. 500 million souls and 13 primary souls appear. The sky suddenly darkened as if the entire sky was covered by something and the earth became hell. An endless amount of wailing from the soul fragments began to echo around them. The soul fragments flew out of the soul flag one by one, covering the entire area. The 13 golden-purple soul fragments stared at the middle-aged man that had appeared. Watch carefully. This is the proper way to use the soul flag. 13 soul formation. Du Qian shouted as the black fog surrounding him turned back into the 30-foot flag. Then he waved it. The 500 million soul fragments began to move in a mysterious manner around the 13 primary souls and formed a large formation that surrounded Wang Lin, Du Qian, and the middle-aged man. Even with Wang Lin's understanding of formations, he was only able to see through bits of it and couldn't study it in detail. Soul refining! Du Qian shouted as he reached out. The formation suddenly trembled as all of the soul fragments let out a unified sound. This sound was like some kind of spell. Shortly after, a black aura came out from amidst the soul fragments and formed a giant hand. This giant hand was doing the same thing Du Qian was doing. It was as if it was his avatar. As Du Qian reached out, a white figure appeared around the middle-aged man. It was his soul. At this moment, the giant hand descended. The middle-aged man's eyes lit up. He didn't use any treasure as he pointed at the air and said one word, "Stop." With a bang, the large hand suddenly stopped and remained motionless. The middle-aged man extended his arm and then 5 different colored lights gathered in his hand. Cauldron. The 5 lights immediately shattered and formed 5 cauldrons around the middle-aged man. Then he muttered, "Refine." The 5 large cauldrons trembled as strange tattoos appeared around them. The tattoos flashed as they rotated around the cauldrons. The 5 large cauldrons formed 5 large vortexes inside the formation. An ancient aura filled the formation and then some of the soul fragments were pulled into the vortexes. Du Qian's expression remained calm as he said, "You are indeed a 9-leaf shaman, and you have some skill. 13 primary souls, gather." The formation suddenly changed again as the 500 million soul fragments gathered toward the 13 primary souls, then the 13 primary souls started to become solid. The 500 million soul fragments fused with the 13 primary souls, giving them each the power of a late-stage soul transformation cultivator. They even had celestial spiritual energy inside their bodies. This time the middle-aged man's expression finally changed. Du Qian's eyes were cold as he said, "It's not over yet. 13 primary souls, fuse into one." The 13 primary souls suddenly moved, creating countless after-images. When the after-images disappeared, the souls had fused into one. 500 million soul fragments and 13 primary souls refined into one soul. The moment this soul appeared, the sky changed colors. Ascendant, the middle-aged man sucked in a breath of cold air. All of the primary souls in the 1 billion soul flag were soul transformation ancestors of the soul refining sect. The one regret they all had was being unable to reach the ascendant stage. They couldn't achieve it when they were alive, and this desire grew stronger in their death. In the end, the desire of all the soul fragments allowed them to fuse and create a power that matched an ascendant cultivator. This wasn't even the full power of the 1 billion soul flag, only a part of it. This power was enough to fight against early-stage ascendant cultivators but was no match for late-stage ascendant cultivators like the current Suzaku. What the current Suzaku was really scared of was the power of all 36 primary souls, especially the 4th one. Du Qian stared at the middle-aged man and coldly said, "Scram. I won't kill you today. My soul-refining sect won't participate in the war between you and the country of Suzaku." The middle-aged man's expression was very dark and the anger in his heart grew. With his cultivation level, if Du Qian didn't have the 1 billion soul flag, he could have easily killed Du Qian already. He stared at Du Qian as he pondered. After a bit, he said, just this kind of power isn't enough to threaten me. Could the 1 billion soul flag only have this kind of power? Du Qian laughed as his eyes lit up and said, 10 primary souls, appear. He waved the soul flag in his hand and then 10 more soul transformation primary souls flew out. This time the middle-aged man bitterly smiled. At this moment, he finally understood why his clan dreaded the 1 billion soul flag so much. The middle-aged man said, since the soul refining sect is not going to participate in the war, then I'll speak for the Forsaken Immortal clan and promise that we won't even take a single step into the soul refining sect. With that, he clasped his hands at Du Qian and carefully left. Du Qian waved the soul flag to retrieve all the soul fragments and quickly left with Wang Lin. 1 billion soul flag. After witnessing what had just happened, Wang Lin's eyes were filled with passion. The world was large, and with that flag, he could go anywhere. With arrogance in his voice, Du Qian said, this is the power of my soul refining sect's 1 billion soul flag. What do you think? Wang Lin replied, very powerful. Du Qian laughed and said, there isn't really a proper way to use the soul flag. For example, the 6th generation ancestor was good with formations, so he used it to create formations. As Du Qian rushed back to Pilu, he told Wang Lin more about the 1 billion soul flag. The 10th generation ancestor's domain was devour, so he used the soul flag to devour souls to make himself stronger against enemies. However, the one skill that the 1 billion soul flag always has is fusion. The ascendant soul you saw was created by fusion. Although it can't last forever, it can fight against an ascendant cultivator for one instant stick of time. However, none of these are the flag's real aces. What can really threaten ascendant cultivators is the 4th primary soul. In tens of thousands of years, the 4th soul has only appeared once. When that happened, my sect's last early-stage ascendant ancestor was fighting together with the 2nd generation Suzaku against 4 late-stage ascendant cultivators from other planets. While stealing celestial jades was the main reason they came out, Du Qian also wanted to teach Wang Lin about the 1 billion soul flag so that he can better control it 2 years from now. Du Qian didn't hold anything back from Wang Lin, he treated Wang Lin like a real direct disciple. These secrets about the soul flag were normally only passed down from master to disciple. Although Du Qian and Wang Lin were not officially master and disciple, their relationship was similar to that. Wang Lin's eyes became serious as he asked, together with the 2nd generation Suzaku. Du Qian nodded. After beating the Forsaken Immortal clan, the 1st generation Suzaku sacrificed himself along with several late-stage ascendant cultivators to seal the Forsaken Immortal clan. Then he appointed someone as the 2nd generation Suzaku. This person was very talented and outstanding, very different from all the future Suzakus after him. He didn't suppress any rank 5 cultivation countries, and while he only ruled for a short 1,000 years, he had a higher cultivation level than every Suzaku that came after. It is said that he was already 1 step into the realm after Ascendant and was only half a step from the next step. This person was no doubt the #1 expert in the history of planet Suzaku. After hearing this, Wang Lin's heart trembled. He thought about the one thing that Sichu Nan had always said, which was that he was the #1 expert of planet Suzaku. What was his name? Du Qian shook his head. It has been far too long for anyone to still remember his name, we only remember him as the 2nd generation Suzaku. Maybe the current Suzaku knows. Wang Lin continued to ask, what happened to him in the end? Du Qian slowly said, his whereabouts are unknown. Du Qian sighed and continued, it is rumored that the battle against those foreign cultivators wasn't any less intense than the battle against the Forsaken Immortal clan's ancestral spirit. In the end, my soul refining sect's ancestor wasn't a match, after all, he was only an early-stage ascendant cultivator. He used the 4th soul to get out alive and killed one of the foreign cultivators. However, the 4th soul took heavy damage and has been in deep sleep ever since. According to my calculations, it should have almost fully recovered by now. Although the battle was won, the 2nd generation Suzaku was hunted down by the foreign cultivators and disappeared. Wang Lin's heart trembled. He remembered when Sichu Nan told him that he fought against some foreign cultivators. Eventually, his body was destroyed by them, but his nascent soul escaped into the heaven-defying bead and then his life was saved. Sichu Nan's hatred for those people could only be considered monstrous. According to Du Qian's story, the 2nd generation Suzaku's fate was very similar to Sichu Nan's. Wang Lin took a deep breath and his eyes lit up. He had a grudge against the current Suzaku. If Sichu were to awaken, would he help the current Suzaku? Du Qian looked at Wang Lin and asked, what are you thinking about? Wang Lin pondered a bit and asked, with the war between the Forsaken Immortal clan and the country of Suzaku going on right now, if the second-generation Suzaku was still alive, would he help the current Suzaku? Du Qian laughed and shook his head. Let's not count on the possibility of the second-generation Suzaku being alive, but if he was, he wouldn't help the current-generation Suzaku because there is no connection between them. It is rumored that the second-generation Suzaku was very arrogant. If it wasn't for the fact that he owed the first-generation Suzaku, he would have already left the planet to hone himself elsewhere. Wang Lin nodded. His eyes lit up and he asked, how many generations of Suzakus have there been? Du Qian snorted and said, the current Suzaku is the 14th generation, and the one I hate the most. Wang Lin pondered a bit before suddenly asking, Senior, the Forsaken Immortal Ancestral Spirit you talked about earlier, what is that? Du Qian shook his head and said, I don't know what it is either, and I have only seen the records from the sect. Back then, during the big war with the Forsaken Immortal clan, this ancestral spirit appeared and caused a large amount of ascendant cultivators to die. Okay, let's not talk about this anymore. The continent of Suzaku is close. Let us hurry so you can reach the soul transformation stage. With that, Du Qian suddenly sped up. In these few short months, Du Qian took Wang Lin across almost half of the planet. Now they could see the continent of Suzaku appearing before them. That's right, the ancestor recorded one of the names of the 4 foreign cultivators. That person said that he was from planet 5 elements and was called Naguo 1. Naguo appears in chapter 248. Yes, that should be correct. Once we go back, I'll give you the jade with the records. Naguo. Wang Lin's body trembled. What is wrong with you? Du Qian turned toward Wang Lin and looked at him with a questioning gaze. Wang Lin took a deep breath and said, I have met this Naguo. Du Qian was startled. His eyes lit up and he asked, You've met Naguo? Wang Lin told Du Qian about the matter regarding Naguo. Interesting. An old monster that has lived for tens of thousands of years must have broken past the ascendant stage and touched the next step. Otherwise, it would be impossible to live until now. The two of them flew very fast across the sky and soon arrived in the northern part of the Suzaku continent. Just at this moment, Wang Lin's eyes became serious. Du Qian seemed to have noticed even earlier because he grabbed Wang Lin and backed up. A green light screen had appeared on the edge of the continent of Suzaku and it covered the entire continent. The Suzaku Formation. Du Qian's expression was ugly. The Suzaku Formation was the most powerful formation on the planet. It could be big or small, but when used at full power, it could cover the planet to protect it from foreign cultivators or beasts that lived in the void. At its smallest, it could shield just one person and be extremely powerful. It looks like the country of Suzaku is very determined to win against the Forsaken Immortal clan. The amount of spirit stones required to activate the Suzaku formation is beyond imagination and a lot of celestial jades are required to use its power. Enough to match a late-stage ascendant cultivator. Du Qian's eyes lit up and he pointed forward. A strand of black gas came out from his finger and landed on the green light screen. The moment the black gas got close, the green light screen trembled and formed a green fist that punched the black gas. Boom! After a loud bang, the black gas disappeared and the fist returned to the green light screen. Du Qian sneered. It even contains the blood of the giant demon clan, so the formation has the power of the giant demon clan bloodline. You shouldn't have left so much trouble behind when you went to the giant demon clan. If I had gone personally, I would have killed them all to prevent any retaliation in the future. When the Forsaken Immortal clan attacked, the Suzaku's second disciple, Qian Feng, went to the giant demon clan, unsealed them, and moved them all to the country of Suzaku. I was wondering why the country of Suzaku was being so generous, but it seems they were after the giant demon clan's blood. With this much giant demon clan blood, this formation contains some power from their bloodline power. Wang Lin remained silent. With Kaihu there was no way he could have killed them all. Du Qian's eyes became cold as he stared at the Suzaku formation and shouted, The Suzaku formation has surrounded the entire continent. There must be someone controlling the formation every 5,000 kilometers. Come out for this old man or else I'm going to make an opening before the Forsaken Immortal clan even arrives. This old man's patience has limits. I will only give you 3 breaths of time. 2 breaths later, a figure appeared inside the green light screen. This person had long hair, wore a white robe, and was very handsome, but he exuded a hint of evil. Overall, he gave off a mysterious charm. This person let out a smile and said, Senior, please don't be angry. Since you asked Junior to come out, Junior will come out. Du Qian coldly said, "Open the formation." "As you've ordered." The evil-looking young man raised his hand and pointed at the green light screen. A hole opened up and Du Qian snorted as he entered the continent of Suzaku. Wang Lin closely followed. However, just at this moment, the evil-looking young man's eyes lit up and he waved his hand, causing the green light screen to close. Wang Lin's eyes became cold. He was stuck outside. "Junior, you are causing death." Du Qian's eyes became cold as he looked at the evil-looking young man. This person didn't show any fear as he let out a gentle smile and said, "Senior, please don't be angry, I just want to fight with fellow cultivator Seng Nyo who shook the entire planet." "Seng Nyo, do you dare to fight with me?" The evil-looking young man looked at Wang Lin, who was outside the green light screen. "Who are you?" Wang Lin frowned. "Fellow cultivator Seng Nyo, although it is the first time we meet, I know a lot about you. My concubine Red Butterfly just can't stop thinking about you." The evil-looking young man let out a smile. "Qian Feng." Wang Lin's eyes lit up. This video will end here.